A less than ideal third quarter in the Lady Vols' first SEC game of the season could actually be a teaching moment Coach Kim Caldwell and staff refer to all season long. But how does that help them prepare for a team she believes could be in the national title conversation? I'm Paige Dower. This is the Field Pass on Full Disclosure. If you missed it, I have a pregame report on Tennessee basketball as they get set to welcome back Jonas Aidoo to TVA ahead of their matchup against Arkansas on Saturday. But back to the Lady Vols. So many of the games this season has had this measuring stick type of identity. You look to FSU and then to Iowa, most recently Texas A&M, when everyone's holding their breath on how Tennessee would fare in that first SEC game of the season under head coach Kim Caldwell. Well, now you turn your attention to number 9, Oklahoma, who Kim Caldwell believes could be a national title contending team. And where this measuring stick type of analogy differs is no longer is Kim Caldwell's team pretenders or contenders. It's how close are they to being a top 10 team, or how far away are they from being a top 10 team. That's what we'll learn Sunday. But what we know right now is the third quarter continues to be a massive area of concern for this team. It's an issue we saw against FSU, Iowa, and again against Texas A&M. Heading into halftime, the Lady Vols had a comfortable lead, but the message from Kim Caldwell was the same. Let's win the third quarter. Specifically, let's win the opening minutes of the third quarter. She restated that same message as they ran back out onto the court after halftime. And what happened? We all saw it. Texas A&M dominated the opening minutes of the third quarter. They went on a 7-0 run before Coach Kim Caldwell called a timeout. Out of that timeout, Texas A&M scored the next bucket to score the first 9 of the third quarter. But then Tennessee went on a 6-0 run over the next 49 or so seconds, capped by a Jewel Spear made 3. But in that timeout, which it was a rare one, we've only seen a handful of timeouts called by Coach Kim Caldwell this season. She reiterated that same message, and it was a simple one. The game is far from over. Let's value our possessions. And where did the aggressiveness go?
They're doing a better job of just repeating it, getting ahead of it, making sure, again, we've talked about our third quarters, making sure that they're having basketball conversations in the locker room before I get in there, that they're focused. They're not, again, thinking the game is over at half. It's college basketball. It's never going to be over at half. So just making sure that they take the leadership on their own, and I get echoed is important.
Now, being the more physical team is something we hear a lot from Coach Kim Caldwell, and the team certainly lacked that in the third quarter. There was actually this one sequence that stood out to me most in that game, and it came from Texas A&M. It was Jada Malone who got a nice layup for the Aggies. Then she hustles back on defense, acting as, a safety, intercepts the pass, gets it back to her teammates, hustles back on offense, gets the first shot off, then not only gets the offensive rebound, takes the foul, but finishes with a made free throw. Now that aggressiveness and hustle and fast pace, that's what Kim Caldwell wants to see, but from her team. And they certainly lack that type of hustle through stretches in this game. Again, not valuing every possession. They need to do that against Oklahoma. Another thing they need to do against the Sooners is to be more protective of the rim, to do a better job of getting to their spots faster, to close these open lanes that Texas A&M was so easily able to find. In the second half, they dominated in the paint. A 30-12 margin or point advantage to the Texas A&M Aggies in the third quarter. That is another thing that cannot happen against Oklahoma.
We want people to play at our pace. We just got to do a better job of protecting the rim and beating them to their spots.
Now, where Tennessee might find some relief in the game against Oklahoma has to do with their presence on offense, specifically with Jewel Spear and Talasia Cooper. And thankfully for Tennessee, they are very different types of shooters. Talasia Cooper loves the mid-range. She's great at driving to the rim. And Jewel Spear is just so comfortable and confident from the perimeter. Being able to have 2 different or maybe even 3 different levels of presence when it comes to shooting will be really important against Oklahoma, especially when you consider they're 18th in the country in field goal defense. They only allow their opponents to convert on 35% of their tries from the field. So being able to have a player like Jewel Spear, who essentially has the green light from the perimeter, will do a really good job of being able to spread the floor against Oklahoma.
She's in the gym. She's such a good leader. She doesn't take bad, selfish shots. She's in the gym getting shots up. She creates shots for other people. You just trust her.
Now, the biggest battle of the game might actually come on the boards. Oklahoma leads the country in defensive rebounds per game, averaging about 34. Meanwhile, the Lady Vols lead the country in offensive rebounds with about 22 per game. And that's where Tennessee will absolutely need to see Jillian Hollingshed and Z Spearman take another step forward and dominate on the glass for the team.
Z could rebound more. Her and I talked on the bus last night. The more she offensive rebounds, the better she is, the better our team is. So instead of waiting and letting the offense come to her, she can go get more offensive rebounds, and she's going to be huge for us all year long of defending in the post. And she can really defend any position, but the bigger they get, she's really going to have to protect the rim for us.
It'll certainly be another tight battle for the Lady Vols on Sunday, but coming up Saturday, we'll have a post-game report from Tennessee basketball and then a post-game report from the Lady Vols on Sunday. So definitely make sure you're subscribed and tuned in so you don't miss out on a single thing. I'll talk to you guys this weekend.